Hello and welcome to Cafe Latte Chat. Today we'll be talking about GSTs and subsidies. Joining me today, on my immediate right, is Mr. Charles Santiago, a trained economist and Klang Member of Parliament. To his right, Mr. Saravana Kumar, a taxation lawyer from Hishamuddin, Allen and Gledhill. And to his right will be Mr. Keng Liang, Gerakan Youth Chief. Good to have you here, gentlemen.
Pleasure.
Yeah. So let's straight dig in, shall we? YB, in your opinion, how will GST affect the average Malaysian?
Well, let me just begin by thanking for this kind invitation to be part of this panel. I think first, I think GST is going to impact different communities differently. Different communities, meaning different classes of people, will feel the impact of GST quite differently. It is quite clear that the middle classes, especially, and also the working class, will feel the brunt of it, whereas the impact on the the bourgeoisie or the rich earning less, more than 30,000 ringgit, will feel the impact at the most minimal level. I think the Penang Institute did a study, I think 2-3 months ago, and they found that people who are earning about 2,500 a month, the impact on their income would be about 2.67%. The low income would be 2.35. However, those who are earning something like 30,000 ringgit, the impact would be only 1.32%. So if you look at the Penang Institute numbers, it shows that the impact on different classes is quite different. And for lack of another expression, the victims of the GST would be the working class and the middle classes.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Tan, do you agree with this?
I do agree that there will be impact on Malaysians depending on their income brackets. To look into that, the higher income people, I don't think they will feel that much pinched over GST. My concerns here would be on the lower income and the middle income group. For the lower income, because of GST actually is a broadening of the current sales and service tax, which has been implemented for a long time. So for the lower income, one of the ways to cushion the impact, I would say that the government has to continue efforts like through Bantuan Rakyat 1 Malaysia BRIM, so that they will be in term, the lower income will get some form of cushioning from the effect of GST. For the middle income, which I do agree they will feel more because majority of them won't receive BRIM if their family income is more than 5K. So this is one of the things that the government have to look at. In some way, one of the things I understand is that there are going to be revisions of the tax rate, and this is something in order to cushion the middle income people the impact. We have to look at widening the income tax bracket so that the middle income people don't feel the impact and they are reduced in terms of tax. Perhaps BRIM or some coupon systems can be done to cushion it.
Having touched on BRIM, the BRIM system is like a one-off payment system. How much do you think it will actually cushion the GST sales tax?
Okay, let's say for example, if the impact on them is somewhere in the region of 1.5 to 2%, then if it's given on the yearly basis, continuance, it cannot be just one-off. The starting I understand is that it's going to be given 300 to assist them to cushion the impact, but that is more towards the lower income. For the middle income, if BRIM is extended more above the 5,000 per month income bracket, then I think the middle income people will be able to, we can assist them in that way. Another way is that the income tax bracket is increased so that they won't be taxed. The initial income tax bracket is increased more so that the middle income people won't feel that much of the impact.
Let me just quickly jump into this though. BRIM as the remedy for the middle classes, not so much the middle classes but the working class. I think this is a fallacy though, because when GST is implemented, every member of the household, even the child in the womb, will have to pay GST. Whereas BRIM is a package given for the household of 600 ringgit or 650 ringgit at the most. So it will not really balance off the so-called losses that you will have through GST. A better strategy would be to have affordable minimum wages for Malaysians, especially members of the working class and the lower middle classes, so that would actually make them, be able to pay for the taxes that they're going to for taxes. I mean, so BRIM is not necessarily the solution, though. It's a band-aid approach. The government doesn't know what to do, so a band-aid approach. But a more sustainable approach would be to increase real wages. This is the challenge, and I think the government has to bite that bullet.
So having said that about minimum wage, we've obviously 2013 we've been talking a lot about minimum wage, and the government has also said that 900 ringgit is going to come into play. So you're saying that is too low for the current economic situation?
Clearly, I mean, you go to industrial areas, you go to poor working families, or you come to our offices when we meet the people at Rakyat, people will tell you that 900 is just not possible. It's just not possible. I think you're looking at a minimum wage of 1,500 at the minimum, though, as a response, a positive response to trying to, in order to deal with the cost of living increases that's taken place in the last so many years. You look at medicine, though. Price of medicine has skyrocketed anywhere between 100 and 200%. Now, therefore, the man on the street, the man who earns or does not earn 900 ringgit, his access to affordable medicine is no longer possible. So, therefore, coming back to the issue of GST and BRIM, BRIM is a one-off approach, a band-aid approach to a very difficult problem that the Malaysian household is facing. If you look at BRIM, for example, I think people below 3,000 ringgit are also getting BRIM. Now, if you go by that, then 75% of Malaysia is under poverty. Now, is that the situation that we are in? And implementing a GST when you have 75% of the population or the working population and poverty is a joke. It's really a joke. But what the government should do is to control transfer pricing. That's where a lot of leakages start taking place. So if the government is more prudent in its customs and so on and so forth, does its work efficiently, then you'll be able to save millions, if not billions, though, on transfer pricing. Though.
Coming to Mr. Kumar, your firm obviously gives a lot of tax advice to a lot of big corporate clients. How do you think GST will impact them? And looking at the bigger picture now that we've mentioned BRIM and minimum wage, what do you have to say about it?
GST is basically a broad-based tax. It's consumption-based, and the more you go and spend, the more you end up paying GST. At the presently, we have service tax and sales tax. The government is trying to, if I may use the word, justify the implementation of GST on the premise that we have service tax and sales tax. But not all supply of goods are subject to sales tax in Malaysia at the moment. Neither is supply of all services are subject to service tax. Only, if I may put it loosely, supply of professional services are subject to service tax. And if you go and dine in a fancy restaurant where the restaurant's turnover is more than 1 million ringgit or 3 million ringgit, you pay service tax. YB Charles has a point there where an ordinary working class Malaysian or a low middle class person wouldn't go and have himself a meal in Hilton. Neither is he going to engage a professional architect to design his house, neither is he going to consult a lawyer like me for advice. It is the working class, the upper middle class who will engage in all these services. They're rich and they pay service tax. And if you ask me, again, here's a point, it doesn't affect you so much because you have the wealth. But GST, on the other hand, is a broad-based tax whereby supply of any goods and service is subject to GST unless it is zero rated. That's the starting position. So I guess to equate GST and sales and service tax as the same, no. Conceptually they're the same, but GST is broad-based. At the moment, another reason given by the government is people don't pay enough income tax in this country. Less than 2 million people are paying income tax for a population of, if I may say, 29 million plus 5 million illegal immigrants. I always remind the authority we have 5 million illegal immigrants who we are paying taxes and shouldering them in this country. And so you cannot justify GST as a room to go and collect further revenue. Present revenue needs to be managed well. And research will show in OECD country research, the Nordic countries have a higher tax rate, one of the highest in the world. 40 to 60% of your personal income tax rate is personal 40 to 60%. They also have one of the highest compliance rate in the world. Now, why is that the reason? High tax rate, but also a high compliance rate, because the deliverables from the government is seen by the Rakyat. They have full faith in it. So here, me personally as a taxpayer, the deliveries are not there.
And on that note, we will take a short break so that we can enjoy our cup of coffee. And when we return, we will talk about revising tax rates in Malaysia.